Welcome to Branding for Product Development versus Marketing. This is so critical in everything you do. Remember, and I'm going to keep saying it, all successful brands are built on product, not marketing. And here's why product has to be your number one priority. First of all, your brand, what you're putting out there is a promise. To win, you must deliver on that promise. You know, and I'll give you a good example. You can tell right from this photo where I'm headed to Disneyland, Disney World. Their promise is it's the happiest place on earth. That is a promise. It is a heavy promise. As a matter of fact, every employee, which is a cast member, has the ability to go in and help make somebody's day. So in this case, there was a little girl that had an ice cream cone. She went to lick the ice cream cone and the ice cream fell on the concrete. She started to cry. Instantly, a groundskeeper, one of their cast members right here, went up and said, whoa, whoa, whoa. He scooped up that ice cream, walked the girl right in front of a line at the ice cream. He says, excuse me, everyone, I've got to get up to the front. And he gave her a new ice cream cone. And within minutes, they changed her perception. He came on, he did this little Mickey Mouse drawing in with ears and everything right there on the concrete. But you have to deliver on the promise. And brands are built on product. Okay. Number two is marketing will bring people to you just once. The only thing that brings them back is your product. And I'm going to keep saying it. Number one is that primary draw that puts you on the map. That's your brand you're going to promote. It better be there. The product, the experience better be there. Then number two is complementary activities. The number one complementary activities, what do we do while we're there? By the way, the number one complementary activity of visitors on the planet is shopping, dining, and entertainment in a pedestrian-friendly setting. And that is where 80% of non-lodging visitor spending takes place. And so what your complementary activities, so if somebody says, but if you're hanging your brand on one thing and they say, what about us? Well, if they're probably, while you're here, you need to do this. And if they're complementary activity, remember, 80% of the non-lodging spending takes place with complementary activities. What else can we do while we're here? And then number three is amenities. This is visitor information, parking, restrooms, you name it. That is the amenities. And then the people they interact with, whether it's a hotel front desk person, whether it is a wait staff person at a local restaurant, whether it's a guide teaching people how to fly fish or whatever they're for, or at visitor information, where it's mobile or whether they're in a visitor information center, the people they interact with. And those four things make up your product. The primary draw, your brand. What else can we do while we're there? And can I find a place to park? Are there public restrooms? And then the people we interface with. Number three, why this is so important. It's a whole lot cheaper to bring people back than it is to get new customers. After a while, you're going to run out of new customers because they've all been there and done that. And so it's so important to have the product there, those complementary activities to keep them coming back. And number four is happy customers will tell friends and family. Let me give you one example. And this is from several years ago when we had Facebook do a project with us. And by the way, this is by far and away the cheapest, best advertising marketing you could ever get. I'm going to take you to our daughter, Claire Kingsley. She's a well-known author. Just go look her up on Amazon or anywhere. But in her closed network, she has 321 friends. A few years ago, she took their family down to Disneyland, and look what she wrote right down here, back from an amazing, fantastic, wonderful, incredible week at Disneyland. Seriously, best vacation ever. It was hard to come back to chilly rain after a week of summer in the happiest place on earth, no fun. So she shared that. This was in November. She's from Seattle, and she posted this and then people started responding and we went to Facebook, and after just 3 weeks, we don't know how many people did this reach. because it wasn't just her 321. If they responded or shared it, then guess what? It blew it up. 1,840 unique people saw, reacted, liked, shared, or posted her experience just on Facebook. One person, one weekend. That is why when they're doing that, Disney is all about the product, the experience. And then number 5, you can build or lose a brand in just 2 years. Because if we go somewhere and the brand isn't there or isn't ready yet, we're going to go to social media and do the flip side of that. Yeah, I don't even know if it was worth the trouble. I mean, that's what I mean. You can, these days, you know what? Branding has moved from a 20-year process to 2 years. That is the power of social media. So this is why branding is key. It's a promise. It will bring people to you just once. It's a whole lot cheaper to bring them back. Happy customers will tell friends and family, and you got to do it once. You got to do it right. So I want to jump to types of brands that were built on product. So we'll go through this because you might say, well, we fit in this category. So where product is the experience, and those types of brands would be lifestyle, agriculture, and I'll show you examples, thematic brands, a best of brand, most or biggest something brand, ethnic brands, recreational brands, and an umbrella brand, which we're going to treat totally separate in its own video. So in this photograph, you see Sedona. This is a lifestyle brand. It's all about the metaphysical, the universe, new age. I mean, Sedona's had this brand forever. That's a kind of a lifestyle. People live there because of it, and they visit there because of it. So if we look at lifestyle brands, Alpena, Michigan is one of those lifestyle brands. It's all about the sanctuary. It's silent sports. It's all of those things where you can get away from the stresses. That's a lifestyle brand. We want to enjoy it even as a visitor. League City, Texas, a suburb of Houston. You know, they have their old brand is League City Style. You know, there's Lunch Break, League City Style. You know, here's conference attire, League City Style. They got a big hotel there with a conference center in it. You know, notice the tie and the shorts. You know, a team building, League City Style. This is the Kemah Boardwalk, just a quick drive from League City. You know, here it is, celebrating life, League City Style, all about quality of life. That's what they're about. It's a lifestyle brand. St. Albert, Alberta, on the outskirts of Edmonton, the Botanic Arts City. You know, they did a series of these. These are just the mock-ups we did. Cultivate your own masterpiece. Cultivate the musician in you, the chef in you, the kid in you. Cultivate the gardener in you. Their whole brand is about the botanical arts, and the word cultivate, and they have these everywhere. So these are all lifestyle brands. When it comes to agricultural brands, well, you know what? We could start with Napa Valley, with 375 plus wineries. And by the way, when you go there, there's St. Helena, which is top-notch shopping, dining, and entertainment. Remember, 80% of that complimentary activity spending, they've got it. Another agricultural one would be Kentucky's Bourbon Trail, which is fantastic. People come from around the world, more than 30 distilleries through this beautiful countryside of Kentucky. That all has to do with agriculture. Caldwell, Idaho is all about farm to fork and wine. Old McDonald never had it this good. I mean, the farm to fork on the creek, they do these dinners right overlooking Indian Creek, right on the little pedestrian bridge. So those are a few examples under agriculturally oriented brands. Thematic brands. I mean, Branson, Missouri, of course, their theme is music. In this town, by the way, this is a city of 11,000 people that hosts 7.5 million people a year, and they have more than 50 music theaters in this little town. And while you're there, they've got beautiful historic downtown Branson, and then Branson Landing right on the water. Las Vegas is absolutely a thematic destination. It's an entertainment capital. By the way, they're not just about casinos anymore. They're more about entertainment, because gambling, you could go just about anywhere these days. Orlando is a theme. It's a kids and family theme. They have 120 attractions, and every single one of them is geared to family with kids. That's what they're about. Paducah, Kentucky is the arts and crafts folk art town. Berea, Kentucky is also like that. Ashland, Oregon's theme is the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. By the way, they have a population of about 22,000. The Shakespeare Festival runs 6 days a week, 9 months of the year, in 4 theaters and 2,200 total seats. Fantastic. So all of these things could be themes. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can always get the handout to this, the accompanying resource, and say, could we fit into one of these? And if you do, then that's probably going to be your theme, and it's going to go throughout downtown and through your whole town. Then there's best of brands. One of them that brings me to mind is Walnut Creek, California. There's all kinds of malls and everything, but this is very best of. Northern California's definitive shopping and dining destination. What's on your list today? They call that retail the Walnut Creek Collection. Indulge your passion for fashion. It's the end of the Bay Area Rapid Transit line, BART, and they get off there. A trolley will take them downtown. They'll spend all day shopping and dining. They have 85 restaurants in their downtown. But by the way, if you're going to be the best at something, it must be secured with third-party endorsement, not because you say it's best, but because Google reviews say it, TripAdvisor says it, Midwest Living Magazine says it. Third parties need to say it, because when you say it, of course, you would think it's the best, but it's going to fall on deaf ears. And then you could have most of or biggest brands. Heck, the little town of Jefferson, Texas, population 2,500, is antique capital of Texas. 125 antique stores and dealers in downtown Jefferson. People drive 4 hours from Dallas just to do their antiquing there. Round Rock, Texas, the sports capital of Texas. They have an 1,100-acre sports park, indoor, outdoor facilities. And they have people coming from all around the country for sporting tournaments and competitions in Round Rock. They have the most of the facilities. Jackson, Wyoming, a town of 11,000, have more than 110 galleries and Western living shops in their downtown, most and best in their case. Ethnic brands would be like this one that you're going to see, Leavenworth, which is in Washington. It's a Bavarian village. And boy, do they deliver on the promise. All their events are Bavarian. They are now, and they said, well, it's all gingerbread. You made it up. Well, guess what? 40% of their population is now Bavarian. They have moved to Leavenworth because they think it's just as authentic or even more authentic than they are back home. And we could go into all these thematic brands. Look at all these now. And you can see there's Old West, Bavarian, German, another Bavarian. And by the way, you can have multiple Bavarian or Dutch towns as long as you're the only one catering to that market. So Leavenworth caters to the Seattle market and maybe Vancouver, BC market. So Kimberly in British Columbia actually competes with Leavenworth. But look at all these ideas. Maybe you fit in one of those. Then there's recreational brands. One of the best ones is Squamish, British Columbia. It is sea and sky. I mean, they one of the world's best rock climbing destinations, but they're all about recreation. Matter of fact, they have the highest per capita number of eagles there than any place on earth, even during the winter. And of course, you go to their website, it's outstanding, hardwired for adventure. That's what Squamish is about. and they own it. Nobody can compete them anywhere in Canada or even the US for just the rock climbing at the top of the Chief is which is their view you see right here. I mean, Moab, slick rock biking capital of the world. They don't even go and put that. They don't have to. They're already known for that. As a matter of fact, if you go to Google and just type in slick rock biking, don't put Utah, don't put United States, don't put anything, just put slick rock biking. Guess what? Page after page after page is going to be Moab. They own it worldwide. I mean, that is a recreational brand. And by the way, their downtown is great. Once again, complementary activities. Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. We're part of this one, the water park capital of the world. And by the way, this is 2 towns, Wisconsin Dells and Lake Delton. The total population there is 5,000 in both towns. But guess what? Their marketing budget for these 2 little towns, total population of 5,000, is $15 million a year. That is the power of a brand like this. So there are 3 ingredients to a successful branding effort. Number 1 is patience, particularly with your locals. Take your time. You may need a bridge brand to get you through. And then passion. No successful brand was built without passion. If Walt Disney was alive today, it's the thing that he'd say was the success of Disney. And then persistence. And when we were working in Alpena, Michigan, Jeff, that runs the Marine Sanctuary, said, Roger, I think you better add a 4th one, a little bit of pain. It's never easy to narrow your focus and be known for one thing, but rest assured that once they come to you for that one thing, you can say, what else do we have? And that's where most of the spending is going to take place.